Okay, so we're kind of back on the alignment issue of snowboards. Ted is standing on the mock snowboard on the ground there. Center line, the blue line is running through the center of his feet, and his body is aligned to that board itself. And so what we're recommending is people starting out, kind of start out, instead of this 15, negative 15, maybe a positive 9, negative 9, where your feet are lined up almost straight across the board. And you'll notice that the reference line on Ted now, that he's got it there, is in line with the board line itself. So the body's in line, which means you can tip to the right side of the board, come up on your toes, and tip to the left side of the board and come up on your heels. So basically, we want you guys to kind of use the ankles and the whole body while referencing yourself above the snowboard to learn the snowboard performance itself, rather than to start all the twisting and everything that people do. Because the actions of your board and the steering of it start with your feet and work to your ankles, knees, and hips. Where most of you have spent your entire life taking any type of action and delivery following your belly button and turning your shoulders to go where you wanted to go. And when Ted does that, he'll hold that position for a minute, and I'll move. You can see that he has twisted his front hip across the board towards the heel side. His back leg is taking the weight. This is the way most snowboarding beginners, intermediates also, ride down the hill 90% of the time. Out of balance, out of reference to the board. So that back weights him. So that would cause the board, he wants to come over to my toe side, which is over here on his right side, but he's standing against his foot on the far left side of the board in contradiction to where he wants to go. So what he's going to do now is he's going to move his balance point between his 2 feet where they were even, and he's going to drive his front knee over to the right. And that's what you should have done to make that right turn. And to make that left turn, you're going to pull both knees around and twist above that left forward foot if you're a regular rider. Okay, so those are your reference lines. Now, Ted's going to take a different reference line there. He's going to put his foot like on a 30 degree or 25 degree or so forward foot with a neutral back foot, which neutral means 0. It's not on the negative side. That slightly opens up your chest, as you can see there with Ted anyhow, that the reference stick above the board is slightly turned to the left-hand side, because we do that because we open up and we can see a little bit more in riding. But again, the tendency is to backload the foot when we do that. So you're going to have to move a little towards me. In other words, he's going to tip a little bit onto his left leg so that when he twists his body there, he doesn't end up unbalanced and pivoting on the rear foot again. So those are your reference alignments. Now he's going to go to a posi. He's going to go to about a 25 or 30 there, come across. And you can see that he's opened up even more. But what he's gained is his reference to flex up and down will have increased. So can you keep that right ankle flat and just flex? Just flex. Okay. When he does this, as I come over here, you'll notice that his reference is really driving that front leg. Okay, so he's moved to force that front foot to start the turn in this more athletic and more posy carving type position.
That's it.
So his fore and aft has changed because he's working with both knees driving forward. Now he'll go back to his 15, negative 15 with the back foot. So go back to your negative. He's now standing against the inside of both ankles, but he can only pass the outside of the ankle slightly. So his reference of fore and aft is a different type movement than it is when he's riding a posi movement. Posi movement is for a carving type board, and the reference he has now is for more of a freestyle board. But we're recommending is you don't put a lot of turn on your feet, so that you start to learn the side cut of the board and how you offset that board in order to make it turn. So that's all we got to say there. I hope this is helpful. Practice in your own living room, your own house, and learn to stand in reference to the board performance.